Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, the things we did not get to during the course of the show today. We probably are not going to have a show tomorrow or an Aftercast tomorrow because Snowpocolypse! Snowpocolypse is coming! We're going to get a bunch of snow, and Tennessee, where we live, is not ever prepared for snow, ice, anything. It's beautiful outside today, and it's not supposed to come in till overnight and 6 a.m. in the morning. But then we would get stuck here trying to get home, and it gets a little perilous because they do not know how to salt roads or anything here for the snow. People in Michigan are like, what in the world? Why are you taking days off? They already canceled school today. Yeah. They canceled school a day ago for ice or something, 2 days ago for maybe ice, and then they're going to cancel for the snow, and then they canceled today for pre-snow. It's absolute lunacy. But we will not be here tomorrow because there's a good chance we would get stuck here. So
we don't want that.
No, we do not.
Really.
I wanted to make it like a slumber party and have fun, but Betty was like, "No, I'm out." And so
I'm out.
Okay. I'm curious if I'm going to get my daughter to the airport on Saturday.
That's going to be super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because if we get,
they're saying 8 inches, worst case scenario. That's nuts. That will shut down our airport too.
Yeah, it would.
So fortunately, my daughter works remotely, so she doesn't have to get home. So if they cancel her flight, she could get refunded and then stay until she can get back out. So it's not the end of the world. I'd rather not drive her to the airport in 8 inches of snow because it's just, again, the roads are so bad. I don't mind it though. I actually it feels like a post-apocalyptic thing when you see 2 other cars on the road and that's it. I like the driving in the snow. I like getting to pick your own lanes, get to drive wherever you want. There's no rules. It's so great. The only thing I don't like is sliding out of control, just random, because my truck isn't 4-wheel drive and it's light in the back and it gets so squirrely. My wife's Bronco, she has the little Bronco Sport. It has an ice mode. It does better in the snow than my truck does. So on snow days, I take her car to work. I've wanted to get a 4-wheel drive so I could not be affected by this stuff, but my car is doing too good at 13 years old. I looked at it yesterday because we were talking about Jubal. I have 160,000 miles on it, and you'd never know it. And then I know I'm hosing myself. Let me knock on some wood. Because the second I always say anything good about my life, it always starts to unravel, and I just know that that's my pattern. Although, I'm 9 days in, doing pretty good on the positivity scale. So
every time you talk about it, the number keeps going up somehow.
It's 9 days. It's 9 days in.
Yeah, but you're not done with
year.
day 9. And we weren't around each other on day 1.
Oh, it was great. That was great. I'm doing great on positivity. I'm doing better than you in some ways. Yesterday, you thought you were dying, and I was positive you were not. We had a thing about snow days come up, and you were worked up about that, and rightfully so. And I don't begrudge you the way you felt. I agreed with you and how you felt.
But you're doing better than me.
Yeah, but I wasn't
You're
passionate.
better than me?
Yeah. I am. It's really good to sit in the high tower like you've always been on your high horse.
I have
great
put
over
up
here.
with years of abuse.
Oh, really? You're going to use that term.
That you are on day 8.5
of health.
You think you're so much better than me.
I'm amazing. I'm like that guy that started dieting, hasn't lost all the weight yet, but is already telling you how to eat.
That guy's annoying.
Oh, 100%. But I love it, every second of it. I love being able to show a mirror to you about what you've said to me for all these years, and it's glorious.
What's the mirror?
The mirror just of you overreacting or you getting passionate about something and be able to be that voice of reason, be like, maybe they feel this way about it, and it's okay. It's okay that they feel that way, and there's no reason to get worked up because it's probably going to work itself out anyway. And then that's what happened. It worked itself out anyway, and I was like, oh wow, isn't that neat? You wasted energy and calories on anger, and it's not healthy. I worry for you. I worry for your little heart.
Amen.
Yeah. Thank you, Gavin.
We are glad that you are back and healthy, though, Betty.
Yeah.
After yesterday walking into...
Because I was dying.
Almost brink of. Touching the hem.
I was touching the hem. Yes. Leaning on the everlasting arm.
Yeah, when she walked in yesterday morning, I'm like, hey, Rock, how you doing? Not a word.
No.
And then she had to get situated and kind of over in her stuff. She's like, I'm not good. I'm like, oh, she does not look good.
It was one of the lowest decibels I've ever heard from you.
Yeah. But I'm better now.
We're good.
I'm glad you're better now. That's always good. Even wearing the new glasses. Do you feel them working on your eyes?
Yeah.
It's like computer glasses, the ones that block out the blue.
You do it to help with dryness.
rays.
Yeah, my eyes aren't dry, so that's good because the day before.
I don't see how they can help with that, though.
Well, I think it can through like strain.
Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah, because they're supposed to not, the glasses like help you with eye strain.
Yeah.
And so maybe if that was, if it was causing you to.
Because sometimes
blink
when I'm
more or
reading the screens, my eyes they feel like they jump without me telling them to jump. They'll jump to like.
You might
the
have
left.
ADHD.
No.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back, and I've read that that's eye strain. So
because all we do is look at screens
all day
in this job. I'm trying to find an angle. Like there's not an angle your eyes can look at.
Yeah. I know. If you look at what we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screens, all within about a 6-foot radius of us. It's ridiculous.
It's gross.
But it's necessary. It's necessary. You have to have that to do your job anymore. But it's funny. We were talking about, I forget what made me think about this, but I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and she said, it was because I said you have ADHD. My daughter said something, and I go, oh, you might have ADHD. And my wife just kind of rolled her eyes because we know my wife's opinion of all that. And so Haley, my daughter, she goes, oh my gosh. Yes, I've thought about this for years now. And I'm like, I think you might have it. And she's like, I know I have it. And I'm like, I think I gave it to you. And she's like, I know you did. I think this whole ADHD thing, the only person that, if I do have it, the only person that it would have surprised is me. Like, I'm the only one that's like, oh, really? There's a thing for that? There's a name for that? Okay. I get it now. But yeah.
Count a field.
Yeah, count a field. What am I going to do about it? Can't do anything about it.
I mean, there is.
Not really.
Are you going to do the telehealth thing?
Oh, yeah, I need to do that. Yeah, that was a good idea. I forgot about that. I'll get to it eventually, someday. I guess
they don't pick up.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Even the telehealth doctor won't talk to me. I didn't know that, like, with telehealth through our insurance, you can actually do mental health counseling and stuff like that, which would feel weird doing that through I guess like a Zoom. I guess.
Why? It's just words.
Yeah, I guess people did that through like COVID and stuff. But if I was going to actually talk to somebody about like all that stuff, I want the full experience. I want the couch. I want a notepad from them.
It's a big if.
I want them in a comfy chair going, how does that make you feel? What do you think about that?
You'd fall asleep in that
Let's
chair.
talk about your father. Oh, I know. I fell asleep at a meeting yesterday.
It was great.
Gavin's taking pictures and sending them to Betty. I was out, man. Like I tried so hard, but then when I lose interest anymore, if I don't have my phone to keep me like somewhat awake, I'm done.
Yeah, the style of these meetings is very much like information.
Yeah,
and I think it's inherently hard to pay attention when you know it doesn't have to be stuff that like you go and be like, okay, that's going to apply to what I'm going to do.
Right.
For the show.
When 90% of it doesn't apply to you, it's not applicable, then you're like,
your brain
my brain, ADHD, am I right? It wanders.
We
and
all
it just,
have it.
It just goes everywhere, And so it's hard to have it, like it's hard for me to pay attention. Mm-hmm. So really, if somebody gets upset with me in the company, I'm just going to claim that I have ADHD.
Victim.
And yeah, you can't get mad at me. I have a condition.
I'm going to post that picture that you sent me.
No, don't do that.
I'm going to post in the potty group.
Okay, potty group's fine. Yeah, don't post that outside.
If you're not part of our potty group, you can be. Just text potty, PODDIE, to 91979.
I got enough troubles getting in trouble. So, Lady Rock, let's get into some of the stuff we didn't get into today. I guess I can go first. I feel bad for older people, man. There was a lady in Georgia. She spent $3,000 by getting scammed by somebody who said they were Alan Jackson, country star Alan Jackson. And I'm like, who gets scammed like this? Because she bought 36 Apple gift cards. And so probably around $100 each.
It's the one thing they say to look for.
That's the biggest.
They ask for gift cards. Don't do it.
The biggest scam, like the biggest telltale sign, especially when a multi-million-dollar platinum recording artist is asking you for Apple gift cards. Do not do that. Mm-hmm. But this was like a 76-year-old lady, and it's so wrong. Like, okay, so she posted something about Alan Jackson. So then one of the scammers reaches out to her as Alan Jackson's manager. And so like sometimes people post things all the time, and like an artist, somebody in artist relations will reach out to them and be like, it happens like with Taylor Swift. Oh, that's so cool. We love that you love her. Hey, Taylor would like to do something nice for you, And that stuff does happen. But then this guy reaches out to her and then says, hey, I'm going to have Alan reach out to you. So Alan starts talking to her, fake Alan starts talking to her for months, and then started asking her to send him Apple gift cards. Again, that is, for every normal person, that is the red flag that you instantly stop. But he said he needed this because he was going through a divorce and his account assets were frozen. Okay, another red flag. Okay, so you're going through a divorce, your assets are frozen. How is Apple gift cards going to get you out of this? How are you going to eat with Apple gift cards? And it's just some older lady that just wanted to feel thought about or cared about. And these people take advantage of that. There's a special place for these people one day. That it's so wrong. But I'm always amazed by how many people get caught by this. And I guess that the feeling of being seen is worth the risk of being scammed. And that, to me, is what's really, really sad. Like the Williams. Remember the Williams on 90 Day Fiancé?
The Williams,
that lady that loved the Williams, she's 60-something years old, 65, 66, trying to date like a 30-year-old model. You're like, again, red flag. Like one out of every 1,000 people outkicks their coverage with that person that you're like, oh, you should not be with that person. They're way too good for you. They're way out of your league. That is such a rarity. You have to be honest about yourself and be like, all right, there's no way that I'm a 2.5 and I'm going to date a 10. Like, there's just no way, It's like, that's another red flag. There's so many red flags. But I guess when you're in love, you don't see them. I've seen this happen with other relationships and people that I know, and you're like, how did you not see this? But when they're in it, they don't, and it breaks my heart for them. But anyway, so what do you got, Lady Rock?
Nottingham College, they are teaching a class to their young students on how to make a call. Yes, on how to use a telephone and make a call. So part of the homework is to get you more comfortable with talking to someone on the phone. Now, one person that did say that they had telephobia, I believe that's what it's called. They said that the reason that they are afraid of the phone and making a call is because everything is just off the cuff. You're talking off the cuff. You don't have a minute to think about what you want to say to that person. And so through texting, you can think about it. On the phone, you can't. And so this class that the college is teaching will get their students to be more comfortable on the phone. And part of the homework is that you have to call restaurants and ask when they're closing. You can't check about it online. And then another assignment is calling like a grocery store or someplace like that and asking if they have a certain product on hold, like in stock. So if they can pass those two things, then they've made it.
And you know how much they paid for this course, too. Like, if I'm a parent paying for school and this is what you're doing, I would lose my ever-loving. I would be like, okay, when you come home from break, I'm going to sit here and have you call people. Like, that's it. It's
What's the most ridiculous class that your daughter took?
Theater classes.
That you paid for?
Yeah, there are a bunch of those. Like, yeah, I just have part of it. I never had, I had when I took windsurfing, badminton, and photography, which was great. Because it was all electives that you had to take. But if this was an actual course where you literally just have to call somebody, I mean, it's the shortest course ever. Because how do you do a whole semester of this kind of stuff? But I have seen younger people obsess over getting just the right thing crafted before they text it, and they ask 5 people around them, okay, should I say this? No, don't say this. Say this. Okay, example. My daughter was emailing somebody about her wedding, and it was a florist. And so she had written up a thing, and she was like, does this sound good? I'm like, no, I would change it to say this or this or this. And I was trying to help her rewrite it. But that's how kids process communication today versus just calling somebody and going, hey, I'm getting married. What kind of flowers or packages do you offer? Oh, we do this, this, and this. It's just outside their realm to actually have a conversation with somebody. And I think it's sad, actually. And it's not healthy. but it is kind of how that generation is wired, and they are less communicative in real life with people. And I say that's going to destroy them long term, but what if everything goes more to this other way, and personal relationships and communication becomes less in the future? It's like, if you're a futurist looking at this, do you say, yes, this is the thing, and people are going to communicate less and less face to face, or will there be that resurgence where like some old technology comes around or some old concept that comes around that's like,
Pager.
no, yeah, this is the best way, kind of thing. And so I'm curious if there will be that point where going old school and actually talking to people is a thing again.
Yeah, no.
I get texting is nice sometimes for the quick answer and for people you don't want to have a long conversation with. Like, that is beautiful for texting. But when you can't call a restaurant just to say, hey, what time are you guys open? Like, that's kind of sad.
But it's good that they're doing it if that's what they struggle with, because I mean, it's better for their future if they can talk on the phone.
I know, yeah, or is everything. It's funny because you said they couldn't look up this is where I think young kids don't understand older generations, because to them, the solution is, just look it up online. Yeah. Like, I can't tell you how many times we're here talking about something and Gavin instantly starts Googling it. Like, I mentioned some artist that I'd seen on my TikTok, and before I finished talking about like the sentences, he's already Googled it and is watching a video of this person. And I'm like, that's how his brain as a younger person works.
Where you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, I would just speculate and be like, I wonder what that band sounds like. Oh, you've just described it to me. Oh, okay. I'll probably check it out later, like when I get home or I get back to my laptop later.
Immediate gratification.
Yeah, I mean, and you do that all the time, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Here at work, when you want to say something to someone and you go upstairs and they're not there, like, you could just email them.
I know.
Text them.
I know, and like you'll do that too. Like earlier today in the show, there was a question about something, and you were like, oh, it was about like some of the liners that we have to do or whatever. And you're like, oh, I'll just email them. I would have waited till they were here and gone and talked to them about it. But that's super old school. But you probably have the answer faster.
I mean, ADHD, you'd
Am
forget
I right?
it. Yeah. So.
But you get the answer faster too, And so, I mean, it makes sense because they could answer you if they're at Starbucks and they're, they get a text or whatever, an email about it. But I still like talking to people for certain things.
Back in my day.
Well, no, but like, oh my gosh, if you ever have to explain something creatively to somebody through email, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, or there's a lot of steps to something. I hate writing all that stuff out. I would much rather have a face-to-face conversation and see that somebody is understanding what I'm saying, because seeing the nonverbals is vital, I think, in some communication.
I
like
agree
that
with
one.
you.
Yeah. I see your face. You're bored.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah. Do you have any birthdays?
Emma wants to wish her sister Rebecca a happy birthday. Rebecca is turning 15. Do the birthday song.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. Wish you was a birthday, so we party too. Hey.
Said she's a kind, caring, and great sister. Question: if hypothetical Hayden lost his hermit crab gig, what would he do?
He'd probably ask me for money, like some startup capital for a new venture, to which I'd be like, I don't think I can do that, son. I don't think I can invest in that. I meant it in a pejorative way.
Pejorative.
That's a good word.
Thank you. And so...
I think he would be like a video game creator.
That would make me like him more.
Really?
Again, hypothetical Hayden. It's my son that doesn't exist because I love my daughter so much that I would treat my son vastly differently.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, poor Hayden.
I know.
You have to explain it. It's sad.
I
He's
think
a real person, Wally.
Yeah.
I think he'd work at like a Dunkin' or something, just on like the slim hope that you show up, and then he gets to see you.
He keeps switching Dunkins to be near where I go, and I keep switching Dunkins when I see him in the drive-thru.
You're like, I'm just not gonna drink Dunkin' anymore.
Oh, that's so good. Probably.
Let's do
weekend plans.
Weekend plans.
Everyone's got on weekend plans.
Snow day weekend plan.
Well, I'm gonna be cold.
Yeah, same.
It's cold and stuck inside. I even asked my wife yesterday. I'm like, she had gone to the store. I'm like, did you get enough stuff, like, just to get through like the weekend?
I heard people couldn't find eggs. Like
Again?
anywhere in town. For some
What in
reason,
the
eggs were.
world?
Haley did some shopping, found plenty of stuff, but
Yeah.
eggs can't find eggs.
I'll tell you, I loved COVID shopping, man.
Mhm.
I really did.
Put that
like,
mask on and just fly.
I loved it. Every Saturday at 7:00, I was waiting at the Kroger for them to open the doors with the same people. And it was always a challenge. What's going to be here
That
today?
senior
What's
crowd.
not going to be here today? And I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed that it was like not crowded and stuff. It was great. So yeah, like when
It
there's
was all
a
nice because it didn't
snowpocalypse.
really impact. COVID was one of those seasons where, like, I don't know if any of us really knew people who got so vastly impacted by COVID.
Yeah, like we know people, friends of friends that
Yeah.
passed away from it. So that was serious. But on the daily,
Nothing felt-
living in the South versus living in New York or LA, I would have lost my mind if I had lived in one of those two cities. I would have fought everything and probably ended up moving.
And that was
because
nearly
it was
5 years
with
ago.
COVID.
Yeah, yes, it was absolute lunacy what they had to do. And then you get on, and I know they thought they were doing the right things, but you get on the other side of it and you're like, oh yeah, that didn't work, that wasn't necessary. But again, all these decisions were being made with no information. And so you do what you have to do, but there was zero common sense in it. Like the fact that masks were a mandate that anyone could just make out of a sock in their dresser, like that was crazy to me.
Listen,
What?
you're not being too Derricky. I need you to calm down.
Oh yeah. That was just crazy to me. That was a situation.
What are you doing for the weekend?
Oh,
If you can.
Nothing.
What depends on the
Well, you've
snow.
got your daughter in town. Y'all can play like games.
well,
and
that's
stuff.
what we
That'll be
always
fun.
do. Yeah, we play card games. We
Yeah.
played canasta
You'll be
last
good.
night and stuff. Oh yeah, I'll be fine. I've got my sim racer, so
Yeah.
I'll do that a lot. I might go out to the garage and make something. So yeah, I'm golden. Like
Yeah.
I'm built for being able to stay at home. I have a bunch of junk food that even if I don't have real food, I can survive.
He will survive.
Yeah.
I am going to sleep. Then I'm going to take a nap.
Whoa.
And then
What's the
I'm going to
difference?
watch some crime shows and work on my puzzle. I bet me and my neighbor will hang out.
Oh, that's true. Your upstairs neighbor.
Yeah. So
There was like a
we'll do
murder in
that.
her building
Yeah.
last night.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
that's only what I can suggest. I don't know.
Betty goes, there was blood on my door. Like they have a common space where you walk in. She's like, there was blood on the door. I'm like, what?
There
And
was.
I know. And then you showed it to me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it looked like somebody had like cut their hand or something, and
Maybe they
blood
did.
got all over the door. Anyways, so there could be a murderer inside. Hey, something to solve.
I know.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, you'll have a busy weekend.
Yeah. What about you, Gavin? You going to sleep? You need
Hopefully-
to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a couple extra hours tomorrow.
But you got to walk the dog out in the snow.
We'll see. That's
Got to pick
that's
up
gonna
that
be
frozen poop out in the snow.
not even close, dude. We're just gonna let him out into the backyard. We're gonna see if Bennett understands that the world looks different with snow. Might put him in a little outfit and chuck him in there. See
That'd
what
be fun.
happens.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I might go buy a sled before and just carry him around on it.
Yeah.
Just for
Yeah,
pictures.
That'd be fun.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of nothing though, which
Yeah.
I think is gonna be cool.
Yeah. Well, that is what we will be doing. We should be back Monday. Like I can't even imagine
The temperature
that
should go up.
stick around or be really bad, but you just never know here. So hopefully everything will be normal and take care of itself tomorrow and Monday, and we'll be back. I don't know if I'm going to get my daughter out of here on a flight on Saturday. So
Yeah, that looks.
like if
I would say it's 30-70 with
Yeah.
the odds not in your favor.
No. And the worst part is if I drive her to the airport and then because it's about 40 minutes from my house with no traffic or no snow. If I drive her there with snow, it'll probably take me an hour and a half to get there.
Probably.
I'll drop her off. I'll get probably home, and then it'll be like, oh, Dad, my flights got canceled.
Ooh, that
and I
is
got to
scary.
drive back. And then, so I'm hoping that if it's going to go that way, that her flights get canceled like early in the morning before she has to fly out. That would be good news.
Because
But
really, it would just require that they would be doing a lot of work. Because it's just supposed to snow tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you would hope that they would just get really ahead on like salting the airways or
Yeah.
the
runway.
tarmacs and
Yeah.
we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our Aftercast. And as always, thanks for being
Thanks
a
for
potty.
being a potty. Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.